An address by His Excellency Isdor Mpango, Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania. I request protocol to escort His Excellency. I have great pleasure in welcoming His Excellency Isdor Mpango, Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania. I invite him to address the Assembly.
His Excellency Dennis Francis, President of the 78th session of the UN General Assembly, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, please allow me to start by conveying to this august Assembly fraternal greetings from Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, who could not attend this important session due to pressing national commitments. It is a great honor and privilege to address the Assembly on her behalf and for the people of my country. I also wish to join those who have spoken before me in congratulating you, Mr. President, on your election to preside over the 78th session of the UN General Assembly. I pledge Tanzania's full support to your presidency. Similarly, I wish to pay tribute to your predecessor, His Excellency Kaba Korosis, who successfully steered the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly. In the same way, I commend the Secretary General and the UN Secretariat for dedicated service to humanity in the face of many daunting global challenges. Mr. President, this year the Assembly is meeting specifically in search of rebuilding trust and reigniting global solidarity. However, for decades now, the persistent voice of the Global South calling in the wilderness, make straight the way toward peace, prosperity, progress, and sustainability for all, has fallen on deaf ears. The hitherto strong historical solidarity, fraternity, and commitment to the principles of non-interference, equality between nations, and mutual benefit bequeathed to us by the UN founding fathers is withering away. As a result of this paralysis in multilateralism, we have now begun to witness shifting geopolitical tectonic plates and creation of new blocs, seeking to replace the now obviously dysfunctional world order. Trust among states has worn away, and there is erosion of the rule of law and a revert back to unilateralism. The effectiveness of the UN system and multilateral financial institutions is now being questioned more than ever before, calling for their immediate reform. All this is happening at a time when the world is reeling from the aftershocks of the COVID-19 pandemic, relentless wrath of climate change, horrendous armed conflicts, global food insecurity, looming energy and debt crisis, as well as stubborn poverty and growing inequality. Furthermore, implementation of the SDGs 2030 has been disappointing, mainly as a result of unfulfilled promises of finance and technology by the global north and limited fiscal space in most African countries. In order to rebuild trust, it is imperative that the global north walks the talk on its promises and listens to the voices of the global south. Analogously, the global south must re-engineer its domestic revenue mobilization effort, including putting an end to hemorrhage of its natural resource wealth and illicit capital outflows. Mr. President, peace is undeniably a prerequisite for achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Ironically, even in this 21st century, some nations are still firing guns and missiles at each other. However, the fact is that massive production of weapons and skyrocketing military spending on armed conflicts is compromising the promises we all made to the most vulnerable among us, that is, children, youth, women, and the poor, to build a better, prosperous world and create opportunities for all, leaving no one behind. In this regard, Tanzania highly commends the United Nations for its tireless efforts in maintaining international peace and security. We applaud the Secretary General's new Agenda for Peace, unveiled on 20th July 2023, which provides a greater vision for multilateral efforts towards peace and security on the basis of international law.